Oh, Diane and Bruce, it is so nice to see your happy faces again.
Hi,
Di-
Sue. This is
Wonderful to
great.
see you, Sue.
oh, thank you. Diane
And
and
not in a
Bruce,
booth.
and not in our booth. Diane and Bruce from SewBatik were very good friends of mine from the quilting world, where we were traveling to quilt shows all over the country and displaying our products, but also having a wonderful time and growing our community of quilters. I miss the shows, and especially I miss Diane and Bruce and seeing your happy faces every month. We really
Thank
did
you.
have a good time during our show days, didn't we?
We
It
did.
was good.
We did. And
It
you know
was good.
something? The shows were wonderful in their heyday, and we got to meet so many lovely people like yourself. I mean, so much talent, and your booth was always like, well, look at the wall, look at your wall. I mean, it's just spectacular and so creative. And I think just that level of attraction was like instantaneous.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I've always so enjoyed using your fabrics. Whenever
Thanks.
I saw your booth, I was instantly inspired. And let me tell you a little story. The first quilt that I made with your fabrics was with a line of flannel batiks or hand dyed flannels that you had produced, and they were spectacular. And I miss those. They are so beautiful. So I never finished that quilt because that line went out of. It's no longer being produced. But I
Right.
would love to know what you're doing currently. What is the focus for SewBatik since you got out of the quilting show world?
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. That's
Well, a few years prior to our leaving the circuit, we saw a need, an opportunity to serve the garment sewing public.
right.
Yes.
Right.
And we slowly transitioned to base cloths and patterns, and also took advantage of Diane's incredible skill at fabricating garments,
Fantastic.
and we made that
Yeah.
transition.
Yeah, and I just think that, one of the things that I'm sure you see too, Sue, is that we are responsive to our customers. And whether or not it's quilting related, or are we missing a color, are we missing a shape, are we missing whatever we're missing, or just a request of, have you guys ever thought about doing batik rayon for garments? And so, Bruce just, instead of just staying in one kind of place, we kind of changed and shifted and grew, to be honest. And
Yeah.
so, I'm wearing a garment that's made out of our rayon,
Oh,
and
I
and
love all your garments. I follow you
thank you.
on Facebook because I can't wait to see what you've created next and what beautiful clothing you are wearing. You
Thank
have
you.
a
Thank you.
beautiful line of clothing and fabrics that go with that.
Right. And for myself, um, as a child, I mean, that's how I learned how to sew. And I learned my very first project was making a 9-patch pillow. I think we all made a 9-patch pillow when
Yes,
we
we
were
did.
9 years old, and so that was like the easiest thing to do. And then just gradually grew into different things, whether it be quilting, or my biggest thing that I did when I was still in high school was an applique quilt for
Really?
and needlepoint quilt for my brother for his graduation, as leaving high school. And
Wow.
it was and I tied it. It wasn't even quilted, it was tied. So it was just one of those quilts that you just kind of learn and do. And I was in 4-H, and I won my little grand champion.
I love it. I love it.
And
So
so I
you're
think
We just saw the ribbon the
we
other
just saw the
day.
ribbon the other day. Yeah.
so your talents have really complemented each other. And
Yeah.
Bruce, I know that Diane is the creative inspiration. She's probably saying, hey, I really want this type of fabric or these types of colors to make my garments. So, how do you make that all happen? What is your role in the business?
So we always have listened to our customers to a very great degree.
Mm-hmm.
And even on day one, before there were any 108 or 115-inch batiks, there were friends of ours. I believe they were APQS instructors and educators who used to really complain about quilting when there was a piece backing made from batiks, tension issues,
Yeah.
all kinds of stuff like that. And I said, and I'm a textile guy. I've been in the textile industry since 1982. And I'm saying to myself, what can I contribute to resolve the problem? And it's what I enjoy doing the most.
Yeah.
And so I started working on a base cloth that would be stable when sewn and would also absorb the dye stuff properly in a batik production environment. And we got to work producing that. And I remember in our first show in Minnesota, we had a cute single booth with a canopy. Remember the canopy?
Made
from our wide backing. And I remember we had no friends in those days. We didn't know anybody. And I remember one sewist, Karen McTavish, actually, she looked at us as only Karen could, if you know her, and said, "What is this?" And she, fell in love with the product, and we looked at each other and we said, "We think we have a business
here."
And
Fantastic.
And Bruce does all the designing. And actually, I have to say, the time that he takes in quality control, researching base cloths. So whenever somebody says, "Oh, well, what about linen? What about batik linen? What about this? What about that?" Bruce really, you go to town just trying to find that right base cloth and the right weight and the right threads to really make a high quality fabric.
Yes.
Whatever that happens to be. And
as small business owners,
yeah,
we don't have the opportunity to do only what we enjoy doing the most, right? We're all, you as well as we, are all responsible for so many different things. Trash should be picked up in about 20 minutes, it's really important stuff. But I really love creating fabrications, and new base cloths are what I'm really excited to be involved with. And we take our cues from our customers, and then we try to expand upon that. And so enter rayon.
Right.
When we started seeing that there were garment sewists who were not part of the batik party, and we, actually, it's probably the only base cloth that we didn't have to create from scratch. That the rayon base cloth, became available, and we just kind of went with it, sold out quickly, and just jumped in, and rayon begot jersey, cotton jersey, which begot linen, which begot canvas, which begot heavyweight canvas, which next is viscose, single jersey, and then cotton lawn.
And who knows what's next?
Right. Next is going to be cotton lawn. So
I can't wait for that.
Yeah.
I'm excited about that.
It's funny because if we're talking to somebody and they say to us, "So what do you guys do in your company?" The easiest way for me to describe it actually is Bruce makes everything of high quality. I sell everything of high quality. And so we're like the team.
So, but you're both very creative. So, Bruce, you're actually designing the batiks themselves, as well as all the technical aspects of the dyeing, printing, and the batik itself, the base cloth. So, you're the very technical guy, yet you're still designing and creative. I love that.
Well, there's an overlap. There's a confluence, of those things, and I really think that all merchandising people, need to know how the thing they're merchandising is fabricated or created, whether you're talking about a piece of gradation or you're talking about anything,
Right.
really. I
Right.
mean,
I love it. I love it.
and that makes you understand what is possible and what the workarounds are.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about your gradations because, of course, I've named one of my projects. Oh, it's over here. This is my gradations quilt, and it's an online course that I sell. I also have a kit made with your beautiful gradations fabric, and I'll tell you a couple of things why I love this fabric. First of all, the quality is top notch. I've never had any quality issues with the fabric itself. It's just so consistent.
Knock on wood.
And the consistency amazes me because I'm a textile person too. I'm not sure you remember that.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah, I worked in the textile industry way back when, and I was a color chemist. And I know what goes into consistency in color, and it is tricky. How do you get such amazing consistency? Maybe that's not of interest to everybody, but I'm sure interested. How do you get such amazing consistency every single time I order that gradations fabric?
Well, the people that produce our gradations do not work from Pantone color numbers. They do not work with CY, this much cayenne, things that you were trained to work with and making an impeccable match time and time again. So what we do is, and having been there so many times, is knowing what the limitations of the dyeing community is at any given particular factory. And I know that they can recreate it because they're creatures of habit and they do it the same way. Batiks need sunlight to not only dry, but for the dye stuff to reach its fullest bouquet. Well, I had the great idea. Let's put the appropriate lamps in the factory so that during rainy season, we can have beautiful batiks made. Mr. Bruce, no. We do this in the sunshine. We have done it this way for millennia, and this is how we're going to continue to do it. Okay.
So you have to know and trust your people because they know their stuff. They know what they're doing.
Plus, I'll add one more thing is that, what everybody doesn't see, I think, behind the scenes is that you may not see some of the things that don't turn out right. We don't sell them.
You don't allow that out. Right. I love that.
Or let's pull one of these gradations out. So the gradation itself, which actually Bruce will talk to you about the process of a gradation versus any other all over, like what I'm wearing, like an all over batik, like Bruce has his cotton shirt on, where the motif is the same and the color is the same, right? So there's a difference, monochromatic. So there's a difference between making a stamp batik and something that's hand dyed, and then hand dyed to show a shade difference from one selvage to the next.
It just makes my heart go pitter patter every time I see one of those.
I mean, the rich color is really something, but the technique of this in general, and this is going from kind of a darker shade to even a darker shade. So if you take something like that versus one that's going from, and that is our, which one is that? Ruby. And this is, and then that one. Right. Okay. So you're holding up Tequila Sunrise, where there's a transition from a goldy yellow all the way to that rich red. Oh, so each one of these is just they're a little bit different. And, the technique of making that isn't so simple.
I'm sure. I've done some hand dyeing on my own, and I know what's involved.
It's
but
very
tell us,
involved.
Bruce, tell us how those gradations are produced to be so consistent, yet have that gradual change of color from one side to the other.
We call it compound dyeing, where we, in the easiest scenario, we take.
You want to take this one?
Sure.
Yeah.
first dyeing this color, second and third, of course. Sometimes there are 4 dyings because the original instructions are for 4 shades, each with a width of 11 inches, so that we fill out the entire width of the fabric.
Yes.
And the fabric is actually dyed not in a vat, but rather on a cement floor.
Okay.
And the dyes are applied by hand or by wood. What do we make our eggs with?
Spatulas.
Spatulas. Right.
And
Thank you.
He makes the eggs, and he's asking me.
So they're pad dye.
That's it.
And and so the dye penetrates the cloth so that we have the same appearance on both sides. But first it's dyed. Sometimes they're dyed 100% coverage of the lighter shade, and then we have successive applications using pad dyeing, applications, whether it's a hand or it's a spatula. Technical term.
I get it now. Now I can understand how this is done.
Yeah.
Mary says, I love the gradation fabrics. They are beautiful.
Thank you, Mary.
Thank you, Mary.
And then,
my focus, of course, is on quilting, and I do a lot of applique. And let me tell you why I love these colors. That Dresden behind you with all of the different shades of yellow, all the different shades of purple, though that type of coloration on flowers in particular is amazing. I can make a rose from that tequila sunrise and start off with a beautiful yellow center and gradually go out to the deepest, darkest colors in an applique quilt. And for applique, I think the gradations are just your gift to the quilting world. And so I want to thank you for creating them. Just a quick aside here. Diane and I have been collaborating a little bit, and we are coming up with a bundle that I have pulled together. I've been working on this it's kind of like a Baltimore quilt. I'm calling it Almost in Baltimore. And I've been working on this Baltimore quilt in 2 different colorations. One, the traditional red and green prints, and the second colorway that I'm doing is all of the gradation fabrics. So Diane and I are pulling together a collection that is going to have everything that you need to do almost any of my applique quilts. It's just, I love doing flowers. We're going to have more fabric for greens, leaves, vines, things like that. We're going to have a good collection of flower colors. We're even going to throw a little bit of brown and black in there so we can have some accents in there. So I'm super excited about working with SewBatik and curating this collection of applique fabrics in the gradations line. So I'm super excited about that. I love my gradations quilt over here. I would love to see that gradations quilt made in every one of your gradations. But I know that you are so much more than cotton fabrics. So you have really gotten into the garment world. And I know that you've been working with somebody that's a very popular industry person in the bag world. So tell me where you are going. I know that quilting has always been your foundation, but you're expanding and moving into different areas, the garments, the bags. Tell me about all of those different projects you've got going on.
Okay. I think that, actually I want to step back for 1 second and share that those, to your point of color, okay, the 3 Dresden circles, each one of those is one fabric.
Gradation. I recognize each one. I love
and so
that.
I think that's the thing that I find to be so neat is that when we pre-cut those Dresden, it is one Dresden sheet all the way across. It's like 9 inches of one piece of fabric. Makes that Dresden, and then you just rotate your colors to make it appealing to yourself. And I just think that is really epitome of what and each one of these projects are the gradation.
Yeah.
So it really is something that shares the amount of color. And this quilt over here is only 6 fabrics. So
wow.
that's all it is. And I just think there's just such a great
many
way
possibilities. So
Right,
many possibilities. And,
and I think
that cross behind you really illustrates the gradation so beautifully, where you
Right.
have the light, the medium, and the dark. Now, before we move forward, since we're talking about gradations, I want to just bring up on your website where people can go to get more information about the gradations. So the
Okay.
first thing I want to do is I want to show your website. So SewBatik.com is where you can go to get these beautiful fabrics. And I just want to share what I'm seeing on my screen right now, because it is just a fabulous picture. I'm going to share my screen. Let's get this one up here. Oh, of course it doesn't want to. Hold on. It doesn't want to share. On your website, you have a free PDF that I think is really important for our quilters to get hold of. So
Absolutely.
I want to share that tab. It's the reference guide. There it is. It's converting our nuance gradation fabrics into individual light, medium, and dark shades. It's a PDF download. So if you are making quilts like I do, and you want to do an applique quilt, and you want your flower to have some of that light, medium, and dark fabric in it, how do you divide up this yardage to give you all of those different possibilities? So go ahead and run over to SewBatik.com and grab this PDF, because you're going to want to know how to divide up that fabric so you can use it in your applique quilts. Now, Diane, like you, when you made your Dresden, I did not divide up my fabric to make gradations. I cut my pieces across that fabric, so I end up getting some of my rings with the, this isn't light, medium, dark, this is a gradation, you can see it on the wall up there. It goes from the blue to kind of that plum color across the yardage, and it's just so stunning. When I cut my melons, I'm able to cut right across that fabric and keep them in order, so I can make that quilt in a very, very simple way without any thought. It just goes together so beautifully. So fabulous product. The gradations are my favorite product that you carry, but I do know that you have so many other things going on. So tell us what you've been doing since you've not moved away, but enhanced your line of fabric to not only serve quilters, but also to get into garment sewing, bags, and other projects.
Yes. So as we had kind of mentioned earlier, we respond to customers, and I think that if you're a quilter, somebody somewhere taught you how to sew clothing. And there's a lot of quilters and a lot of sewists out there that are kind of going back to trying something simple. And I just believe that that's where we're getting a lot of our customers as well back into the sewing world, is a simple top and a simple jacket, an easy rolled edge kimono, for example. That's another free PDF download that we have on our website to simply get you to think about making something for yourself that might be an easier task than a quilt, and still have the beautiful batik that you're used to if you were our customer as a quilter as well.
Yes.
And so garment sewing, and I think working with Annie Unrun from By Annie Bags, By Annie Patterns, this is actually one of the projects that I made, and this is from our canvas.
Oh,
so
that's gorgeous.
This is just a simple little backpack for a child. Actually, this is the tiny child one. And so we've been working a lot on how to use each one of our substrates, whether it be the rayon or the linen, or the jersey knit. I mean, I even made a quilt out of our jersey knit, because most people wouldn't do that because of the stretch. There's 20%
so
stretch
soft
in it,
and cuddly.
but it is so soft and it's so cuddly, and it is just a favorite. But it's not for everybody, because you think of garment sewing when you think of a jersey knit. So I never let the fabric itself stop me from making something, whatever it happens to be. So
and that's where
we
your
make
creativity comes in.
right. And so we talk about that a lot because, really when you think about batiking and hand dyeing fabric, it has to be a natural fiber. And this is what Bruce really, really studies and pays attention to and looks at. So why can't we batik a canvas?
Gorgeous. Oh,
right.
I never thought of batiking a canvas, but it
Right.
absolutely makes sense.
I mean, it's just a method of decorating cloth.
Right.
It doesn't dictate what you can do with that cloth.
Right. And so I just think that what we've always told ourselves that regardless of the substrate, I can have a top like this that coordinates with a backpack. I can have an apron that is a piece of fabric that also matches a napkin on a table for an evening at home with, for Christmas.
Right.
We can do anything with any one of our fabrics. And so I just believe that for us, we're just kind of growing and migrating into different areas. And if something doesn't sell, we're not going to stick with it. We're going to move on to the next thing. But
it becomes an ironing board cover.
An ironing board cover, yeah. So, so that's it too. We decorate our walls, we decorate our beds, but we have tables, we have napkins, we have ourselves, we have ironing boards, we have sewing machine covers, and a lot of these things that the pattern designers who make bags and who make home decor. I look at all of it. I just really, my problem is that I have too many ideas and not enough hands and time in the day. And I think we all, as quilters, are that way, and as sewists. And what we just started.
I love the way that you look at the world of decorating your whole world with textiles. As you said, quilters do kind of limit themselves to their bed and their walls, maybe a table runner here and there, but there's so much more in life that you can decorate. That's fantastic.
Right. There really, and I always look at challenging ourselves. And I believe that everything can be accomplished. And you know how you'll read a pattern and it will say, this is intermediate, or this is advanced, or this is a beginner, or the number of stars, or the number of, rotary cutters, whatever it is that's kind of qualifying a pattern. I completely disregard it. I just believe that if we all really challenge ourselves now and again on a project, we may have things that we just don't want to do, which is fine. Like, not everybody's going to pick up a pattern and make a backpack. I mean, not everybody's going to do this because there's zippers, there's mesh, there's all these different things that you have to work with. And, but I do believe that we can challenge ourselves. And
we can grow and learn for our whole life. Yeah.
Yeah. And so the next best thing that we decided that we were going to do as crazy people is we were going to provide pre-quilted fabric. So we're quilting canvas and cotton, or cotton and cotton, or whatever you want pre-quilted, because if you don't want to quilt the fabric, we will do that for you. And then you just cut out your project, whether it be a bag or a jacket. And I started doing this with this is a pre-quilted fabric that I made into a tamarack jacket.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
Yeah, and so this is with our canvas and then the cotton inside. And we had so many people ask us, will you quilt that fabric for me? And again, here we go.
And it still has a little bit of drape, but it's got that nice structure. So does it feel like a jean jacket?
Yes.
I want to feel that. I want to get my hands on it.
It does feel like a jean jacket.
Oh,
and
I love that.
It's made with wool batting. So it's a really, really thin, lightweight wool, but it's perfect for like a cool evening or a transition between seasons. And that's kind of why I did this. So,
that's gorgeous.
We just really try to answer the call, be creative, and, just share as much as we can about our products and about fabric, new designers, people like yourself who are amazingly creative. And
you. Well, this is why I do this program. I love to spotlight my favorites in the industry, people who I admire, people who I love, and I love the products that they're producing. It's fun for me to get to interview you, and we all share what we do with a whole new group of people. So I see Debbie West. She says, I just keep buying more and more.
Debbie. Hi, Deb.
hi, Deb.
How's your mom?
And then we've got, oh my goodness, someone says, this is fascinating. Mary says, the gradation fabrics are beautiful. Sign me up for a bundle. I love it. I love it.
I can't wait to put that together. That's my next task.
Oh, that's going to be gorgeous. So when we do, we're working on our quilt here. When I do get that finished, I can't wait to show you some pictures of that. I can't wait to get both of these versions finished. So you have a traditional print version, then we've got this beautiful gradations version. I love working with your fabrics, and it just, every colorway just inspires me to use it in a different way. One of the ways that I've used it, as I mentioned before, is roses. Well, I took some of your beautiful gradation fabric and I made folded roses for my mother. It was spectacular. I made her a whole bouquet of 3D folded roses with your gradations fabrics. They are so beautiful. I'll have to go find that photo. I had forgotten about it until just now. But they're so subtle in the way that they change color. They just bring so much life and so much realism into your flowers and into my quilt. So thank you for all that you do for the quilting world. It just makes me so happy to be able to explain a little bit, not only about how they're produced, but the people behind these fabrics that are being produced. So what we didn't talk about, Bruce, is where are you doing all of this work? Where are you located, and where are your fabrics manufactured?
I'm located right next to my wonderful wife, and we are located in Mayville, North Dakota.
North Dakota.
And our base cloths are woven in Indonesia, mostly in the city of Bandung, which is approximately an hour and a half away from the city of Jogja or Solo, where a lot of batik making goes on. So we have our fabrics shipped to our batik manufacturers, and from there they go to the ports of Samarang, usually for shipment to Singapore, and then from Singapore to LA, and from LA to North Dakota.
I love that. I love that you are manufacturing the base goods right in Indonesia, bringing them over to the factory and dyeing them there, finishing there, because there's so much of that back and forth that goes on. And when we're looking at our carbon footprint, the way that your fabric is manufactured is much less transportation, much less impact on our environment, I would think.
It wasn't always that way, but you could see the necessity of doing it, and especially in a post-pandemic world, you know, where simple is better.
Yes, I love that. So your lives have changed considerably since we were all on that routine of going out every month to several different quilt shows. And so tell me about your online business. Are you selling through your website? Are you still selling wholesale to stores? Where are people going to find your fabrics?
We are exclusively right now on our website. We do have we have a store here, but it's by appointment only.
Oh,
because
okay. So people actually can come into your store.
Yes. Yeah.
I got to get myself to North Dakota. I've never been there before.
Well,
we get that a lot.
We get that a lot. Yes. But yeah, so we do have that. And it also has helped us with our, we also have a YouTube channel where we do what we call Fabric Fridays. And so I try to position our our camera in front of the topic of the day. So I kind of move around to the canvas, to the rayon, to the jersey, when we're talking about our topics. And so that is one of the reasons why it has been kind of by appointment, is so we can control our own destiny here.
Yeah.
And but we did wholesale. We no longer wholesale. We have had to just really focus on our growth and our products, and really just I don't know. We just, everything changed 3 years ago, and so we're just we're reinventing, we're pivoting, and we're loving it, to be honest. So
you know what I love about your model and mine? We get to go direct to the consumer.
Yes.
So there's no middleman that doesn't tell us what's going on, that doesn't tell us what our customers are needing. We're talking directly to our customers and serving them in the best way we know how. And it's more fun for them to know the manufacturers of their fabric, to get to see you here and how it's all done, and to know that process, and to know that they are supporting a small business, and it's direct from you to the customer. That is such a fantastic way to do business. Bruce, you mentioned simplifying. I think it's something that the pandemic has taught all of us. And by simplifying our business, we simplify and enrich our lives, and I think the lives of our customers as well. So, oh my goodness. Thank you for what you do. Your fabric is absolutely stunning. I'm glad that you're doing it from home and you're able to spend more time where you belong, with your family, Diane with your mom, Bruce with your mom. That's just, it's a wonderful place to be. I bet you my mom's out there watching too today. Becky says, I love SewBatiks. They're wonderful fabrics and customer service, and I love the owners. So thank you, Becky.
Thank you.
That's great. That's great. Well, Bruce and Diane, I have probably taken up enough of your time today, because I know that you have so many irons in the fire, so many different directions that you are going. I am going to let you go and create more beautiful ideas and fabrics for your customers. And I hope that everybody here at Soup Helen Designs will head over to the SewBatik website. Go get your copy of that PDF download, both for converting the nuanced gradation fabrics into the light, medium, and dark shades, as well as, did you say there was a kimono pattern out there as well?
Yes.
Wow.
It's called the Easy Rolled Edge Kimono, and it's a free, we have a couple of free PDF downloads just to help you get going on a new sewing project, or just something that may be fun for you to try.
So that kimono pattern would be perfect for your batik rayons. Is that what you'd normally make that from?
Well, I want to show you one thing, but yes.
Rayon. Show me anything you want to. I just don't want to take up too much of your day.
No. But it's one of your favorite colors. I'm just going to grab it. If we can, do you see this?
Ooh, I love it.
So this is the same hyacinth violet that is in your quilt on the wall.
Oh, this one, yep.
And this is the Easy Rolled Edge Kimono made with, I think it is
Did you make that just for this? Just so it matched my quilt?
No, because to answer, just say, I should say yes. Yes, I should have. But we got so many questions about this pattern of what can we make it out of? And so I said anything. And so, the rayon, the jersey, I made it out of linen. This is the gradation. So this is the cotton. And
Lovely.
So you can see the gradation all the way through the whole beautiful garment.
I love it.
And it doesn't matter what you make it out of. That's why I just kind of feel like you can do anything with anything.
I love that. You've even made it out of the linen. So it's more like a jacket. Oh. So
just like a beautiful, beautiful jacket. And one of the things that we always have is we always have a solid black that's called tuxedo. And that's just an easy way to just make something fun and simple that you can always wear on an evening out too. So anyway, but yeah, so that's another download that you can get for free and enjoy.
Okay, great. Now, there's something else that I noticed on your website, and I want to point this out to I want to point that out to my listeners, that you have $7 flat rate domestic shipping. That
Yes.
is unbelievable. I know how much shipping costs. So thank you for doing that for your customers. That's a great service. And so they can get anything
Yeah.
in their bundle and get $7 flat rate shipping.
Mhm.
Just fabulous. So everybody run over to SewBatik and get your amazingly beautiful fabrics. If you want to work with me and do some applique, you're going to want some of this gradation fabric, but you're going to be making bags, you're going to be making garments, you're going to be playing with all of these different ideas. And imagine those beautiful garments with just a little bit of applique on there.
Perfect.
That would be gorgeous. So it's been so much fun catching up with Bruce and Diane from SewBatik. I want to thank you for being guests on my show today. We do Sewing in Slippers with Sue every Tuesday. Sometimes we have a special guest. Sometimes you'll have a project with me. So come every Tuesday, 11 a.m. And I love being here, sewing in slippers with you. I do have my slippers on. I didn't show them to you.
Not.
Since I stopped traveling, I just love being here in my studio, inspiring, teaching applique, and working with these just phenomenal fabrics, making these beautiful creations. And I want to invite all of you to come and do that with me. Make your beautiful creations with Diane and Bruce's fabric. Go on over to SewBatik.com and get some fabric today and get those free downloads. Thank you so much for being my guest today. It's been such a pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you, Sue. It's
Great
so
to see
great.
you.
So great catching up with you.
You as well. We'll see you again soon.
Bye.
Thank you, Sue.